Hi friends, this video is all about the AP US History exam, okay? So you took this class, you signed up for this college level class in hopes that you will get college credit at the end. And how do we do that? How do we achieve that college credit? We have to pass the AP US History exam, okay? So here's all the information about what we are prepping for this entire year. And we're slowly going to be building up to these things, these writing pieces in this multiple choice throughout the year. So your exam right now, AP has said, the College Board has said that they are planning to still hold in-person exams in May, and they are not going to change anything. This is pretty possible in Anderson County. We can social distance you guys in the gym and give you space and time to do this exam. But we'll see how things change. Last year, if you took an AP exam, you took a 45-minute exam online and you had to type or write and take a picture, and it was just a big mess. Hopefully, we won't have a big mess this year. Hopefully, things will go as planned in person. So right now, it's set for Thursday, May 6th, 2020, and it is a 3-hour and 15-minute exam broken up into two parts. Part A is short answer and multiple choice, and Part B is a DBQ and an LEQ. So let's talk about what those things are. This infographic will also be posted on your Google Classroom, okay? So there are 4 parts of the exam. Like I said, it's broken up into 2 sections, 4 parts. So two parts per section and then 2 sections, okay? So the first thing you'll do is SBMC, stimulus-based multiple choice. We could call this just passage-based multiple choice. You're going to get a passage, 150 words or less. You're probably going to get about 15 or 20 of them with a few questions afterward. And you have 55 minutes to answer 55 of those questions. That's a question per minute. But you also have to read the passage. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of this on Albert IO this year during NTI and in person when we come in person. So you will be ready for multiple choice. Some of the questions are going to be, what does the passage say? Some of the questions are going to be more history-based questions, like alluding to a different time period tied into the passage or something like that. So you still have to know history even though it's passage-based, okay? That is worth 40% of your score, a giant chunk. So moving on to SAQ. What is an SAQ? It is a short answer question. It usually has 3 parts, part A, B, and C. They're similar to FRQs if you took Ms. Vassar's AP Government class, but a lot shorter. Each part, and there are 3 parts per SAQ, is about 3 sentences. So each SAQ is about 9 sentences, and you're going to write 3 of them. This is worth 20% of your score, and 2 of them, they say, you got to do these. And then the third one, they'll give you 2 different options, and they'll say, pick one and do it. And sometimes they'll show you a picture and ask you 3 questions, A, B, and C about it. Sometimes they'll show you a passage and ask you 3 questions, A, B, and C about it. Sometimes they'll just ask you 3 questions, and you just got to pull that history out of somewhere. You got to know it, okay? And this is 40 minutes. So if we take 40 divided by 3 SAQs that you're going to be writing, it's about 13 minutes each. So when we do timed SAQs in class, or when I ask you to time yourself at home writing SAQs, I'm going to give you about 13 minutes, okay? All right, LEQs is next. So actually, after SAQ, you'd get a short little break, about 15 minutes to use the bathroom, get up, stretch your legs, but you're not allowed to talk to your peers because you're in the middle of a test. Okay, so then you'd come back and they'd give you a huge chunk of time to finish section number 2 that has 2 parts to it, okay? So the first part of that is the LEQ. What does LEQ stand for? Long essay question. Okay, it is worth 15% of your score, and it's like a regular long essay. Sometimes that means it's a 5-paragraph essay. Sometimes it may be more or less than 5 paragraphs. But you're going to have an introduction that contextualizes history, a thesis, you're going to have body paragraphs, and a conclusion that restates your thesis. That's the gist of an essay, and we're going to be writing those in our second unit. We're going to get going on those, okay? They will give you 3 different questions. There's no passage, there's no pictures. It's just, you got to pull the history out of somewhere, you got to know it type of question, okay? You have 40 minutes to write one of those 3 options, and they're from 3 different time periods. So if you're better at the later time periods, then hopefully that question looks good to you and you're able to answer it. Or maybe you're better at the earlier time periods. So we practice in my class a 40-minute essay. I give you 5 minutes and say you should be planning a thesis and planning what your paragraphs are going to be and all your evidence, and then 35 minutes to write it, okay? Moving on, the last chunk, the DBQ, is worth a huge chunk of your score. 1/4 of your score is the DBQ, 25%. What is a DBQ? It is a document-based question, and it is 60 minutes. It is the longest portion of this entire test. So what is a document-based question? It's much like an argument essay. If you took Miss Vassar's AP Government class, or if you've written a document-based argument essay in an English class before, except in history, you'll be given 7 different documents, okay, document 1 through 7. They're going to give you about 15 minutes. Actually, it's on your own time, so you got to be watching the clock. About 15 minutes to read the question. There's one question you don't get to choose. They choose for you. They give you 7 documents, and then they want you to write an essay that argues a point using those documents. So it's a lot like an LEQ. You're going to have a contextualization paragraph. You're going to have a thesis. You're going to have body paragraphs. You're going to have a conclusion that restates your thesis. But within all that, they expect that you add in evidence from the documents, outside evidence from the documents, historical perspectives from the documents, intended audience, and all of those sort of things of the documents. They want you to frame your argument around the 7 pieces of evidence documents that they've given you. DBQs are my favorite thing to write, my favorite thing to teach, because they give you some of the answers in the documents. They give you a question, you're like, oh crap, what's that? And then you read the documents, you're like, oh, that gave me some evidence I can use. So they're a lot easier if you can just get over the daunting amount of writing it is and the time chunk. So they say 60 minutes, but you should take 15 minutes to read the documents, annotate the documents, plan a thesis, plan out your essay, and then 45 minutes to actually write it, okay? And we'll practice that in class when we come back. So that is what the AP test looks like. The 4 sections cut into 2 parts, or 4 parts cut into 2 sections, something like that. And how do we earn college credit? We get a score of a 3, 4, or 5 to gain college credit. So let me tell you my own story. I took AP US in high school. I had Mr. Sarah as my teacher, who many of you guys will have for economics this year. And I got a 5 on the exam. Well, that's, I'm your teacher. Hopefully I got a 5. But when I went to college at EKU, because I got a 4 or 5 and not just a 3, they said that they would give me credit for 2 U.S. history classes. So I got 6 college credits for taking this AP class in high school. And the same happened for my AP European and AP Economics and those sort of things. If you can shoot for that 4 or 5, some state schools will give you 6 college credits instead of 3, depending on what their general ed curriculum is. So always, always, always be shooting to pass, but also be shooting for that 4 or 5, because you might luck out and get more than just 3 college credits. Okay, so I'm going to be posting this on your Google Classroom, and we're going to be practicing these things all throughout our entire year in U.S. history.